Good morning, remodeling community. Welcome to our Remodeling 101 today. It is a pleasure to be here with you. We're going to talk a little bit about what we consider Remodeling 101, just some of the fundamental basics about what we do here at the Cleary Company. We are a design build remodeling service that also offers bathroom renovation through bath to bath, and home services does smaller projects. So we'd love the opportunity to talk to you about how we might be able to help you improve your home space or possibly your workspace, which during this COVID maybe is the same space. I know a lot of you are working from home in this environment, so we do hope that your families are safe and that you are doing well throughout this troubling time that we're all finding to be the new norm. So again, probably a 20-minute presentation here, so thank you for joining us. If you have some questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can Facebook those to us. You can email us at george@clearycompany.com, and we would love to respond to you, or feel free to give us a call, 614-459-4000. In your spare time, if you want to check out our website, there's a multitude of different things that you could have fun taking a look at. The most favorite page there is our gallery. So you get to take a look at some of the projects that we've done, whether they be whole house renovations, bathrooms, kitchens, things of that nature. So check it out at www.clearycompany.com. So check it out and let me know what you think. So there's different approaches to remodeling that we've kind of outlined here. There's of course the DIY project, the do-it-yourselfer. And a lot of people are capable of doing that, and that's great. We just want you to stay safe if that's the choice that you choose. The second choice is to go with an architectural firm. Have somebody be hired to do the design, and then maybe submit the plans to different general contractors to try and figure out who you feel comfortable with after doing the architectural versions. So we'll talk about each of these a little bit more detailed. Third is the jack of all trades. Try and find somebody that can do the addition. They're going to pour the footer, lay the block, do the backfill, frame it, drywall it, plumb it, all of those things. And that's a model that we usually find in smaller towns, where somebody is just has that capacity to do that. In the bigger cities, typically you're not going to find too many people that are capable of that because there's licensing, and not everybody has a plumbing and a heating license, an electrical license, as well as a general contractor license. So kind of beware if that's the approach that you go. You need to make sure that you're in good hands with somebody that can really expedite the project from A to Z. That's a tough thing for a one-man band. And then of course the model that we really enjoy here is the design build model. So 26 years ago we weren't a design build firm, but about 10, 12 years ago we started leaning that way because our projects were getting larger in size, and people wanted to have a little bit more, maybe a little bit more taste than what George Cleary could provide them. So we found that we were working with a lot of different people's interior designers and their home decorators. And so once we realized that that was a trend that was not going to go away, we decided we wanted to control that process so that we could be providing the design services as well as the implementing of the actual project. So that's our main business here. So as we move along, we do like to have fun here, and this is something that we kind of created maybe 10 years ago that was kind of fun. It was just something to kind of put some emojis before emojis were cool, onto paper, and just kind of talk about the psychology of the project. And what we do really can be fun, but it's also a very trying time for a family to, put them through all of the steps of the remodeling phases. So we just kind of show some of these things of the emotional times of a project. When we're doing design, everybody's excited. What's this going to look like? What's it going to feel like? How big is this space going to be? And then we get into estimating, and it takes a while to come up with how much the pricing is going to be. So that's a little bit of a low time. Then we get up and we start producing drawings that are going to show you what your wonderful kitchen's going to look like. So you get inspired and you start thinking, oh, this is great. And then we start getting into the contract and all the legal language about how long it's going to take and how many payments are going to need to be made and all of that. So then we get our permitting and all that. We get back up to a happy spot where we start demolishing your home, which is what everybody loves because that's where the project physically takes place. Then we go through some of the easier tasks, the framing and the window installation. Then we get to all these people that need a lot of inspections, insulation, mechanics, the plumbers, the heating, cooling people, the electricians. So that just kind of takes a while, and then again, all those inspections that get there. So we kind of get you to an all-time low when we're doing drywall. That's when it's just kind of a messy part of the project. And then from there, we start coming out and putting in all the pretty stuff, and people start smiling a little bit more, and we get to the end of the completion when we will do a wonderful job of cleaning your property before we leave and having a professional cleaner if need be. Make sure that when you're ready to move into that kitchen that you're ready to put silverware in the drawers that aren't dust filled. So that's a little bit about that emoji chart. So next slide here is what should I be able to answer for myself when choosing a remodeler? So we realize this is sometimes the second biggest investment that somebody may make in your life, and we're in charge of that. So you really need to feel comfortable with that. And who you're dealing with in the business aspect. So, what's your gut telling you? Are you comfortable with the people that are presenting to you? Do you trust them? So that's priority number one to me. Do you trust the people that have the process outlined? Do you expect them to be able to follow through with what they're telling you? And then lastly, do I understand all the cost and the potential overruns? There's a thing called change orders. We hate those around here, and the clients hate them even more, but what we try and do up front is have good conversations so that we can avoid those. And more often than not, the types of change orders that we see are, boy, I love your painter. Is there any way that he could stick around and paint my basement while he's here? That's a very common request. But what we don't want to do is, hey, we need a new electrical panel now that you built this addition. Well, shame on us. We should have figured that out in advance. So we'll do our best to make sure that all those types of things are taken care of upstream, so to speak. So little eye candy here. This is a project that we did in Clintonville 2 years ago, down in the Northmore area of Clintonville. So we're going to talk on this slide a little bit about the budget. You ask yourself, what is the value of you and your family's time, during this renovation? If you're trying to decide if you want to do it yourself or have one person do it, and the time commitment that's going to take for that individual to be able to navigate through that project, they're going to need a lot more of your time. And do you have that time available? What is the value of the improved quality of life for you and your family? Is this an addition that is going to be able to allow you to entertain more with your immediate family or your extended family? That's what we would sure hope. We always hear a lot from our clients that we're entertaining more than we ever have in our lives. We're cooking a lot more. We're actually taking cooking classes because we're enjoying this kitchen so much. So a lot of those things that you can kind of talk about. The timeline of a project, what's that going to look like? How long will it take from the planning stages all the way through the final brush strokes of paint? What will my family's schedule look like during this process? If you have dogs, cats, pets, children, husbands, kind of all in that same category, I think. So how are we going to navigate through that? We're going to make sure that your home's locked when we leave. Just making sure the logistics, where are we putting a porta-john? Why we want a porta-john on the site, why you want us to have a porta-john on the site. The dumpster location, what's that going to do to our driveway? How are the neighbors going to react? All that stuff. We'll have good conversation during the upfront process to make sure you understand all of that. Then as we move on, can you live through the process? We sure hope. But do you want to live in the house that we're remodeling? Surely if we're doing your bathroom or your kitchen, we can easily navigate that. But if we're doing a whole house renovation, we have chased people around their home from different floors. That might be a conversation that would be good to look into renting a temporary home so that you could live outside of the building while we're doing the renovation. Designs and decisions. There's a lot that goes into our projects today. There's so much great things out there on the internet, and particularly on HGTV, that have really exploded our industry. So we're going to want to make sure that you're getting something that's very unique for you and your family. We don't want to design what we want. We want to design what you want. What you want for your home. So we'll have you ask yourselves, do you have a design direction, or do you need that professional design help? Most of us need that professional design help. Do you make decisions quickly, or do you need time to process things? We're going to really get to know each other up front when we interview each other to make sure that we're a good fit for you, as well as that you're a good fit for us. Are you somebody that can move the needle? Are you going to take 3 months to make a decision which refrigerator? That can be problematic. So we want to try and figure that out up front. Who needs to be involved in making the decisions for your remodeler? We don't want to find out about your aunt who's a designer in Santa Barbara that is going to hold up the process because she needs to approve all the drawings after we're ready to make a decision, and then we've got to send drawings to Aunt Bertha in Santa Barbara. If that's the case, we want to know that up front so that we can allot time to make sure that we can have everybody's opinion that's going to be part of the process. Communication is one of the key things that in our company. So we need to talk about what type of communication do you want. Is it going to be via text, emails, FaceTime meetings, Zoom meetings, person meetings? All of those are very doable. How often do you need to be communicated with? If you're not living in the home, a lot of our clients literally are living remote. We're working on their primary residence while they're living in their second home, or they've retreated somewhere for a few months during the COVID, and we've been able to work on their home, which has been really nice because we can come earlier and stay later potentially. Not have to really clean up the job as much on a daily basis if nobody's going to be living in the home, so that might give us an extra half an hour, maybe 45 minutes every day to actually produce the project. So that's great. And what are we going to do? We actually have an app that we use. So as a client, you would have your own portal that you could sign into and kind of see weekly updates of the project, how the inspections are going, how the permitting's going, when your next payment is due, what your designs are. You'll have that all at your fingertips of your smartphone or your laptop. So if you are at work and you want to show off what you're doing to your beautiful kitchen, you'll have your drawings remotely accessible via your smartphone so that you can show off what you're doing. So, picture of our crew here and why we believe in this design build model. It's a team approach. I always constantly say we make better decisions than I can make, and I think that's pretty much true for most of us. So we're very collaborative. We have wonderful designers. We have 4 or 5 designers on staff. We have project developers. We have estimators. We have people that are looking at things through a different lens to make sure that if I thought this was the best way, well, that might be what I think, but other people may be able to weigh in their opinion, and maybe we change the roof line that maybe makes it look better, provide more natural light into the home, a better design element, a cost savings. So we want to kind of look at all those things so that we don't leave any money on the table. Every one of our clients is always budget conscientious, so we want to make sure that we're always doing the best that we can to provide you the best bang for your buck. And I really feel that the collaborative process that we do really enhances that. So kind of again, it saves on time and energy. The communication with one company from start to finish. You're not dealing with an architect that is going to tell you, yeah, this is a $200,000 renovation. Then you meet with a company like ours and we tell you it's a $400,000 renovation. And then you meet with another company like ours and they tell you, yeah, it's a $400,000 renovation. And you're like, well, wait a minute, I paid my architect and he told me it was going to be $200,000. Sometimes there's that disconnect. There's no offense to the architect. They do a great job at what they do. But without having both sides of the equation in there, sometimes there's that disconnect. So we can be your design from the initial conceptual designs to the permit drawings. We do everything in-house. We can take care of what I like to say A to Z. All the planning and design, the drafting, the permitting, the lot lines, surveying, engineering. We can take care of all that. So you've got one phone number. When something goes wrong, you're going to be calling us. You're not going to have to figure out, was that the engineer's fault or the architect's fault? You'd call us. We are going to be able to provide you a detailed scope of work, and been doing this a lot longer than not. And what I've always discovered is, there's usually a couple different mindsets with the couple, whether it's two guys or a lady and a man or two sisters. We've renovated homes for two sisters that work or that live together, and every kind of composite you can imagine from 3 generations in one house. So there's always a lot of opinions. But what we find is one person typically is very left brain, so to speak. They want all the details versus the right side of the brain that might want all of the specifics on the drawings, and they want to see what the roof line looks like. They could care less about the technical language. So by dealing with one firm, we provide all of that in one package so that you can understand exactly what you're getting, conceptually through the details of when is the payment due and who's liable for this type of insurance and all of that stuff. So we'll make sure that you feel comfortable with that by having one person in the design build process. And of course, everybody likes to save money, and the certainty of cost. We are going to understand it because we're going to have designed the project to what your budget is. So that's something we really try and focus on, is if you have $50,000 or $450,000 to play with, we want to design what we can give you for the best bang for your buck in that budget range. So we don't want to design something for $200,000 if your budget is $100,000. So we're going to talk about finances right up front, just so that we get everybody comfortable with that. So hopefully a lot of this makes sense. And again, I know I'm throwing a lot at you. Saturday morning, and you got better things to do than listen to me. So, again, the website, www.clearycompany.com, 614-459-4000. Let us know. We'd love to give you a tour of our facility. We're at 989 Old Henderson Road, near the corner of Henderson and Kenny. So kind of across the street from Staples, White Castle, in that area. Just kind of summarizing here, we're going to research and gather facts about the realities of the remodeling and present those to you. We're going to listen to you really well and ask questions so that we understand that we're designing. Again, what's vitally important is designing what you want, not what we want for you. Sometimes there's a blend of that because we may see something about your property that we could enhance during the process of doing what you want to do. So we're going to definitely give you our opinion, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that it works for you and your family. We're going to help you weigh the pros and the cons when it comes to budget, timeline, design, decision making, and communication. We're going to pick a road path that works for you. And we're going to help you make an informed decision to work with the people that you trust. And we sure do hope that that's us here at the Cleary Company. We build relationships around here, and we happen to have fun making projects for your life. But the relationships are what's really important to us. So we'd love the opportunity to meet and see what we might be able to do for you. Again, George Cleary at the Cleary Company. Please shoot me an email, george@clearycompany.com, if you have questions, and or just give us a ring. One of us would be happy to answer any of those questions and see what we might be able to do to schedule a time to come out and visit your place. Thank you so much. Stay safe.